All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my very first live stream class, Strengthen Your Immunity 101. So I'm excited to see y'all. So since this is all kind of new to everybody, at least to our group, I want to tell you that you'll notice on the bottom of your notes or where you've logged in on the screen that you'll be able to see that there's a place that you can put comments, and I can see your comments. So later on, if you want to ask questions or just give me a shout out, say hi, that'll be great. And I'm looking forward to, chatting back and forth with you guys. I won't be able to hear anybody, but I'll be able to read your text or your comments, on Facebook. So that'll be good to see. So the other thing I wanted to talk about before we got started was I just wanted to give a shout out, thank you to Lorena. Lorena works in my office. You guys all probably know and love her as I do. And we wouldn't be able to do this technical stuff that we are doing today without her help. So thanks, Lorena. I see her on too. Okay, so in the next order of business at my household was I sang happy birthday to Jacob when I woke him up this morning, and give a shout out, happy birthday to Shelby. Both my kids have birthdays today. I have one daughter that doesn't have a birthday today, but the other two have identical birthdays. So happy birthday to Shelby and Jacob. All right. So welcome to Strengthen Your Immunity 101. And we're so excited to be sharing with you, what I've learned. I'm excited to share with you what I've learned. I know this is not necessarily an exciting time, but I want to empower you with truth and, evidence-based science that goes back to even the beginning of chiropractic times. I have some exciting quotes to give you that we've known for a very long time. We're the power that, makes the body, heals the body, and how that all works. So we're going to dig into that today too. So in the era of what we have going on today, COVID-19, rather than go into a bunch of details of numbers, because those details and numbers just keep changing every day. And that's part of the worry of the uncertainty. But the World Health Organization has called this coronavirus a pandemic. And it is spreading in multiple countries around the world at the same time. That's a definition of a pandemic. And while there are things that I'm going to encourage you to do to stay safe and to stay smart, most importantly, we want to understand where true health and healing come from. So when we look at this, I want to share with you a little bit more about the soil or the seed. So if any of you were in the office yesterday, which by the way, yes, we were open all week, seeing people and getting people's power turned on. We passed out this. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's a little brochure. And if you come to the office, I'll share it with you when you come in next week. But it's written by Dr. Fred Barge. And many years ago, he wrote this. Actually, Dr. Fred Barge is no longer alive, but he's one of the older chiropractors that I knew that he actually knew BJ Palmer, the founder or the developer of chiropractic. So some history involved in that. But he writes this pamphlet called Soil or the Seed. And the quote at the very beginning of it is by Claude Bernard. Claude Bernard was a 19th century French physiologist. And he was quoted saying, "Illnesses hover constantly above us. They're seeds blown by the wind, but they do not set in the terrain unless the terrain is ready to receive them." So his findings was that it's not the seed that actually causes sickness and disease, but the soil itself. And his counterpart in the same era, or at the same time, was French chemist Louis Pasteur. Now, I know many of you recognize the name Louis Pasteur, but none of you have probably ever heard of Claude Bernard. Well, that's interesting because what we carry out today is a philosophy still of Louis Pasteur, is that germs cause disease. Well, the truth of the matter is that the germs themselves don't cause the disease. They're everywhere and they're always there. And if germs did cause disease, alone, that was the only factor, then nothing would be alive on this planet. So we have something called an immune system. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. And that's the soil we're talking about. The two famous doctors, Louis Pasteur and Claude Bernard, argued throughout their lives, I'm going to read you the top of this pamphlet, as to what was really the cause of disease, the soil or the seed. Pasteur insisted it was the seed, while Bernard claimed it was the soil. On Pasteur's deathbed, it is said that he admitted that Bernard was right. He said, and I quote, "It is the soil, not the seed." So he realized that his counterpart was right, and we know that still today. So we want you to stand strong in knowing that you can build a strong soil foundation to not let these negative viruses and bacteria in. But we also want you to be smart. Be smart and be proactive. Take simple precautions with your immune system. So just like when we talk about in our office, reducing the exposure to toxicity, your body is built and equipped with things to detox. But if it gets too much toxin at one time, it can go into a toxin overload. Well, the same thing's true about biology and with the viruses and bacteria. So we want to reduce our exposure to that, right? And that's what our country's attempting to do right now, is to keep everybody indoors so that we reduce the quickness of the exposure. And you can assist by not, going out unless it's absolutely necessary. Also, washing your hands, reducing the rate of exposure can impact the intensity before the entire body is affected by it. Then, of course, we go on to talk about how washing your hands lessens your exposure to this virus. Now, let that also be said. I know I said that we're staying indoors, but they have so far, what we know so far is that they're allowing for necessary medical treatments. And not only the International Chiropractic Association, but the state of California has proclaimed that chiropractic offices will be staying open as a medical necessity treatment center. So we will be open as long as we are able. So natural immunity. It's really about the natural immunity that your body has, and there's a balance between these things. So the other thing I want to talk about in your natural immunity is that our bodies are really designed to live in harmony with these viruses and bacteria so that our body can grow immune to them. And one of the ways that we get natural immunity is, in a normal situation with things like the flu or cold, if our immune system is weak, our body takes in that virus or bacteria and makes an antidote to it right away. Like your own body knows how to make an antibiotic and an antiviral. And these antigens can be created provided it's given enough time to do so. So anytime that you're working towards strengthening your immune system, and this is an important time to do that, because while we're slowing down the process of people getting this infection, this virus, it may still be inevitable that we may have to build up an immunity to it. So some of you have been in my office before, you know that we talk about our natural defenses like fevers and runny noses, things like that are all symptoms that we don't really like, but they're symptoms that we need because the body uses them in order to sorry, I lost my train of thought. Our body uses these symptoms as ways to heal the body. So a fever is a symptom and it's not very much fun, but it's actually killing infection. A stuffy nose and green mucus and coughing up, all that kind of stuff, none of that's very much fun either, but it's your body's way of carrying infection back out of the body. So in our office, we refer to, in my family, in my house, that if we're expressing any symptoms, when we're expressing symptoms, it is merely our body actually getting stronger, our immune system getting stronger. And so we think of that as like exercise for our immune system, and know that your body will get over it. Okay? So this is something to be able to just focus on, because what we really want you to do is to be able to stay calm, try not to watch too much news, don't panic, and trust God. Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." And we talk in our office about one of the 5 essentials. Essential number 3 is max mind. And what you put between your ears and in your brain and what you listen to is going to affect your physiology, your immune system strength, and how you can respond to things. And the more stress you have, the weaker your immune system is going to be. So research actually shows us that being obsessed with negative talk, negative statistics, and fear-laden conversations will create anxiety, which weakens your immune system. So instead of focusing on the negative, and since you don't have anything different you can do right now, right, because we just have to wait for this to pass, focus on the good. I like to talk about turning obstacles into opportunities. As a matter of fact, my beloved coach that I had earlier in Maximize Living, that passed on, some great wisdom to me, had said, turn obstacles into opportunities. So whenever there's an obstacle coming your way, and you see it as an obstacle, look in there for what you can learn. Because every time we have an obstacle, there's something that we learn in there that makes us grow. And this can be the wake-up call that everybody needs to start paying attention to their health and their well-being. Because right now, many of us that are taking care of our health and have strong, healthy immune systems are really glad that we've been taking care of our health. And there are other people right now that are struggling with their immune systems. It's never too late to start contributing to your immune system and to take on new lifestyle habits moving forward. So this is an opportunity to grow with new lifestyle habits. It's an opportunity to not only learn that for yourself, but teach that to your family. So I'm excited you guys are on this talk with us so that we can, teach those things to you too. Okay, so things that do weaken your immune system. So we want to avoid things that weaken our immune system, and we want to increase the things that strengthen our immune system. So things that weaken our immune system are free radical overloads. What are free radicals? Free radicals are things that are released in your body as we get toxins, and they produce oxidative stress. A cell in your body that's in oxidative stress will have damaged cell membranes or damaged proteins in it, or even worse yet, damaged mitochondria. So oxidative stress is very hard on the body, and we need antioxidants, which you've heard that word before, that help you to be able to reduce your oxidative stress in your body. And you want to limit the amount of things that produce free radical overload. So you can see some of the things on the bottom, like toxins that you get exposed to in your foods, in environmental toxins. Sugars and preservatives will actually overload your oxidative stress. So reducing those things. Stress itself can actually become an overload. But again, anything in overload, because sometimes we have positive stress. It depends on how we respond to stress, which is pretty empowering when you stop and think about it. We can have stress and we can decide that this stress is going to be something that will boost us forward or improve, how we think and what we do. Or sometimes we can have stress that we allow it to run us down. So decide how you're going to respond to stress, and then don't let any of that stress, whether it's negative or, overwhelming, get too much, right? We want to make sure we take breaks and take time to relax and recognize where God is in all of this. Chronic inflammation is also something that causes oxidative stress and weakening to the immune system. I'm going to take a sip of my tea because I can, because I'm so excited that I'm doing this class from home. I hope you guys are excited you're at home too. I got fresh mint tea today. It's very yummy. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the 9 ways to keep your immune system strong. What are the 9 ways we're going to focus on today to keep your immune system strong? First one is eat well. A strong immune system starts with what you put on the end of your fork. I love that line. So be responsible for what's on the end of your fork. First of all, don't unconsciously eat. Sometimes when we're stressed out and worried, we want to eat unconsciously. Don't do that. If you need to have something with your hands to do, find something to do that you haven't been able to do in a very long time. And keep your hands busy. Eat plenty of antioxidant-rich vegetables. So those cruciferous vegetables, bright, colorful vegetables. If you make a salad of some kind, make sure it has lots of different colors in it. That's amazing. antioxidants in there. You want to eat low sugared fruits, and then this also will help lower the number of free radicals in your body, which we just talked about is a good way to do that. Omega fatty acids in some wild caught fish, those are helpful to reduce inflammation. So eat well, make good food choices. Take this as an opportunity to maybe not eat as much as you normally would, because quite frankly, as a society, we eat more often and more than what we really need to. So the 2 plans that we do in our office that you guys are familiar with are the advanced plan, and some of you, I know there's a lot of people out there who are new to this, the advanced plan and the core plan. The advanced plan, you eat no sugar at all, and then people a lot of times say, well, what the heck do you eat? Well, you've got to be careful, not only just sugar and sugar products, but all processed foods and boxed foods, they'll have added sugar to them too. As a matter of fact, I even bought for my family a vegetable package mix that had some kind of seasoning in it. And when I read the ingredient list, it said it was organic, but then it had organic sugar added to this vegetable mix as like a sauce or something. So you really have to be careful with what you pick up and what you buy. Making sure there's no sugar in the ingredients of things that you're eating, not just don't eat cake and candy. Make sure that you're eating low glycemic fruit. The list of low glycemic fruits that are available are berries and anything that's a berry, and also grapefruit and green apples. Those are the lower in glycemic types of fruits. You also want to avoid grain altogether. On the advanced plan, we do no grain at all. If you're not trying to raise your immunity, lower your blood pressure, or lose weight, then you can do the core plan and have minimal amounts of grain. But when you have minimal amounts of grain, you want to make sure those are whole fiber and healthy grains. And then both programs, advanced or core plan, you want to increase healthy fats and decrease or minimize unhealthy damaged fats. So what's a damaged fat? A damaged fat is a fat that has a long shelf life. Any kind of vegetable oil, canola oil, those things that don't go rancid sitting out in the open, those are already damaged fats because they're heated up, which releases the hydrogens in them, and that heating up process makes them not smell bad or taste bad when they go rancid, but they are actually already rancid sitting on your shelf. So we want to use fresh and it's best if it's cold pressed oils. I use coconut oil for high heat cooking, and I use olive oil, grapeseed oil, or avocado oil on my salads. And avocado oil can also be used in some stir frying, like a lower heat, as well as olive oil. You don't want to heat up olive oil too much though. Olive oil is a little bit more sensitive, where avocado oil can be a little bit more hardy, and coconut oil is the most hardy in the heating process. Okay, but make sure you don't burn your oils either. Once you burn an oil, and I've done this before, some of you may have too, where you put oil in a pan and you go to do something and you kind of forgot you turned the fire on already. Coconut oil can get brown and burn too. If it gets brown and burns, start over. Let it cool off, get rid of it, start with a new batch, because you don't want to eat any damaged fats. Okay? When you're choosing your vegetables, it's best to choose organic when you can. I know that's a little bit hard right now. I was at the grocery store yesterday and there was no frozen vegetables anywhere. I stocked up as much as I could on what organic vegetables they still had available, and I'm chopping those up and blanching them, which means you slightly steam them or cook them and then freezing them. So I'm making my own freezer vegetables because there were, quite frankly, none left in the freezer at the stores yesterday. Hopefully they'll be replenishing, but so those are some ideas of some ways that you can keep things in your house for a longer period of time. And if you have to, just work on keeping your frozen meats available. And we stocked up in my house, and you guys should do this too, on your protein shakes, because quite frankly, if you have to, you could live on protein shakes for a little while too. So those are all good resources to have in your cupboards during this uncertain time, for sure. Okay, next slide is the next thing to raise your immunity is to exercise. And I want to encourage you guys to keep exercising. I know you're trapped in your house. You know, if you have to run up and down your stairs 20 times, or if you only have a step in a landing, go up and down the step a bunch of times, do some movement. We've recorded on our YouTube page a couple of exercise classes, and on the 30-day challenge page, some exercise classes that we've done together. I'll make sure I post some more while we're going through this COVID-19 time. But you want to keep moving. So moderate amounts of exercise can support your immune system. And when you feel like you just feel too run down or you don't want to exercise, you should still exercise, because exercise is going to raise your immune system. It's also going to boost your mood and help with depression or worried feelings. So it's great for you to get out and get some exercise. Whether you go outside or you do it indoors, strength training, if you could do any resistant type exercise, use your body if you have to. Do some squats or some push-ups against the wall or push-ups on the ground. If you have any weights, those are great too. But even if you can't do high intensity and resistant workout, even a walk is good for your immune system. So make sure you get moving and switch up your routine. Don't do the same thing over and over again, and keep moving and keep exercising. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about doing is, I think this is the third thing to reduce your stress and improve your immune system function, is to manage your stress. But we don't want to manage stress, because that would just make us focus more on stress. What we want to really do is manage peace. So peace management is really how you want to reduce your stress. And that's really all about taking time to have some peace and quiet, and maybe sit down and talk with God, or sit down and just relax, thinking about the things that do make you feel peaceful and happy. And the attitude of gratitude is also very important for peace management. So while we have these concerns and it feels scary and stressful, and I'm with you guys, because I've gone up and down the gamut myself. I've had times when I'm like, woo! Another time, especially when I went to the grocery store yesterday. I don't advise that, but sometimes it's a necessity. But that was stressful, and it took me a while to manage my peace when I got home to calm that back down again. So don't be a victim of panic. Control the panic. And be in charge, be proactive about your common sense approaches to health, and use these strategies that we're sharing with you to strengthen your immune system and focus on peace management. I actually wrote down a list of a couple of things that we can focus on in peace management. And this was actually out of the original Body by God book. Some of you have been around Maximize Living long enough know that it used to be called Body by God. And this was in the 10 instructions for peace. And the 10 instructions to increase your peace is to be appearanceless. In other words, don't be so wrapped up on how important you look, or some people think that you look, that you forget to appreciate other people. Be wantless. Know that God's providing everything that we need, and our wants will be met. But also notice, as we're looking at these things on this left-hand side, or actually through the whole beginning, these things that are wantless and acceptance-less and result-less and pride-less, those are all things that are of the flesh, things that we desire in order to make ourselves feel good. Being timeless, right now, you have no choice but be timeless. So that'll be an easy one. But to be hateless is also difficult, especially with the stress levels as high as they are. We tend to want to, point fingers at people and blame people and say what's wrong with, what's happening right now in our country. But all these things that are on these first 8 things, fearless, there's another one, to be fearless, are all of the flesh and not of God. You notice that? Those are all things that are not of God. And so what we want to do is reduce the things that perpetuate negative feelings in our mind, and increase the things that give us faith and hope and love. So we want to be faithful, hopeful, and filled with love and joy. Joyful is another thing put on that list, right? And so These are the ways to increase your peace. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to look at in increasing your immune system strength is to stay well hydrated. It's great if you make sure you get the right amount of water in. I thought this was also interesting, so I put it on the slide. Hopefully I can leave it up there long enough for you guys to do your own calculations or write this out. But you take a calculator and you take your weight in pounds and you divide that number by 2.2. Then you multiply the result of that number by the number that is represented with your age group, right? And so for my age group number, I multiplied by 30. And then you divide that number, the answer to that number, by 28.3, and it comes up with how many glasses of water you would drink a day. And if you divide it by 8, because they will show up in ounces, divide that number by 8, and you'll get the number of glasses. So that's really important. And the reason why we stay hydrated to increase our immune system function is that it helps to flush toxins out of our body. It literally carries the byproducts of our body trying to heal itself and carries them out of your body. And so staying well hydrated will flush toxins and bacteria and viruses out of your body faster than if you got dehydrated and they stayed inside more. And that's why you want to do that. Lemon's also a good thing to help detoxify. So if you add a little lemon to your water, that's a good idea too. Okay, so next we're going to talk about minimizing your toxins. When we're talking about minimizing toxins, we are looking at things to reduce toxic exposure to things. So right now, it's not a good idea to smoke, whether it's a vape or anything else, for all that matter. We want to reduce those things. The other thing on there is that you want to reduce the amount of alcohol that you drink. If you do drink alcohol at all, it says it really doesn't have to do with whether you're male or female, but your body size and your body's ability to process the alcohol. So women, it says 1 glass, up to 2 for men only, but only that daily, because other than that, you're overloading your liver and weakening your immune system. If you can drink purified water, don't try to avoid tap water. Don't drink tap water. In other words, and purified is the best, but there's no such thing as no water versus bad water. In other words, if you only have access to bad water or water that is not exactly purified, it's better to drink not so purified water than to drink nothing. Okay, so don't drink nothing during this time. You should be increasing your water intake. Have a jug around the house. I like to have like my intake amount in like a liter size, so I know that I have to finish this liter bottle twice today or this liter bottle 3 times today, whatever that number is for you. And then you just make that your goal and have that sitting around so you're constantly reminded to drink that too. Minimizing toxins also involved avoiding some medications that aren't necessary. So that doesn't mean go stop taking all your medicine, because if there's things that you are on and you need in order to maintain your health at this point, then don't go stop taking those things. But avoid things like pain medications and over-the-counter medications. And while those things are tempting, especially if you are producing any symptoms, it seems tempting to take a sinus medication because you want to feel better, or your aspirin because you want to reduce your fever. But those are all working against the body's natural defense mechanisms. So be wise about those choices as well. When you're cleaning your house, we suggest witch hazel or vinegar for cleaning products, as well as essential oils that we like to use, and avoid toxic exposures to chemicals in cleaning products. And don't use artificial sweeteners. Those are the most toxic top 5 categories of places to be watching for toxin exposure at this point that may cause weakening to your immune system. Okay, get good, no, great sleep. I had to change, not just saying get good sleep, but this baby in the background looks incredible to me, and that just looks like the best sleep ever. So go out of your way to take time to get a good night's sound sleep. That doesn't mean sleep all day. As a matter of fact, if you sleep all day or you nap too much during the day, that's actually going to ruin your sleeping hours. It's more about the time and the quality of the sleep when you are sleeping. So try to go to sleep every night at the same time and get up at the same time each morning. Your body gets in a rhythm and a pattern, and it's used to that rhythm and pattern. So don't change it while we're sitting at home and maybe not at work so much. Well, most of us not at work so much, and doing different things, just trying to figure out projects to do in the house. It's good to still stay on your same sleep schedule. If you couch potato it all day long, then you're not going to be tired enough when you go to sleep, and you're not going to get good quality sleep. So try to keep moving during the day. Avoid naps, especially naps after 3 p.m. And I shouldn't say avoid naps altogether. If you're a nap person or you benefit from a nap, just make sure they're earlier in the afternoon and minimal, like a good half hour at the most for a nap time. Stay away from caffeine and alcohol later on in the day. Those are things that interfere with your sleep. Avoid nicotine altogether. And get regular exercise. So the exercise we talked about earlier, and I said it is important to keep exercising to strengthen your immune system. It's also important to keep exercising to affect your sleep at night. Sometimes we don't get enough adrenaline going during the day that'll calm or get our body to then release melatonin so that we sleep well later on at night. And so it's important in getting that exercise during the day, so you do that. Just do not exercise within 2 to 3 hours of bed, going to bed. And then stay off computer screens, phone screens, and even televisions within an hour before bedtime, because that screen time and that really concentrated screen time and the blue light is all known to affect your REM cycle and your sleep cycle, and it will disturb the quality of your sleep as well. So get good sleep. 7 to 8 hours is the recommended daily amount, and you should be able to find time to get that now, right? The next thing we're going to do to strengthen our immune system is protect your gut. So your immune system is actually mostly comprised in your gut itself, which is no surprise that a lot of us in our country living on the standard American diet that we live on are overweight, obese, and have weak immune systems and unhealthy guts. And the unhealthy gut actually produces that. Your gut also is actually where you produce serotonin, and that affects your moods and depression as well. So gut health is super important. So your immune system will be improved by what you put in your body and how healthy your gut is. One of the ways you want to make sure your gut is healthy is not only the quality of the food that you're putting in, but avoiding foods that are known allergens, that have preservatives in them, chemicals in them. Certainly avoiding sugar. I like to remind people, 1 hit of sugar will weaken your immune system for 2 weeks, right? So it's not even just reduce your sugar a little bit, but if you have, a little piece of candy every day or a little piece of cake every night, that little bit of sugar every day causes you to actually weaken your immune system. And that is definitely a big problem. The other thing that happens with our immune system and our gut is that we get exposed to GMOs, and we have something called leaky gut. And that leaky gut is produced by toxins that irritate the lining of the digestive system, and that lining gets inflamed. And then when it gets inflamed, it swells the junctures that allow food to pass through. So actually food particles pass through, which normally are not allowed to pass through, and that produces an allergic reaction in your body. So that's why common allergy reaction foods have GMOs in them, which cause the swelling in the digestive tract in the first place. And those are corn and wheat and soy and dairy products. Those things are all things that are bad and negative for your immune system. So I'm going to hit the pause button for 1 second because I just noticed that my battery is going low and I have a power cord. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about that, gang. My faux pod. You can tell this is my first streaming because the next time I do streaming, I'll know. Make sure I put my password on my computer. Okay. All right, I got to duck away for one more second, but we're going to move on to the next slide. And the next slide is about chiropractic and getting your power turned on. So hang on with it. And isn't that ironic? Because we're going to the slide about getting your power turned on, and I just had to turn my power on my computer. But we're okay now. Yep, charging, we're all set. Okay, so now that I got my power turned on my computer, I can also tell you about turning your power on. This is a super important slide, so listen up, everybody. So chiropractic patients were found to have 200% greater immune compliance than those people who had not received chiropractic care, and that they had a 400% greater immune competence. Sorry, I can't read that word when my glasses not on. Than those people with cancer and other serious diseases. So I want to talk a little bit more about that because this is a really, really important time for you to understand and for the world to understand that there is a relationship between your nervous system and your immune system and your body's ability to fight infection. That is the most powerful thing because all these are things that we're going to do for our health, like our nutrition and our exercise and our getting good sleep and making sure we're not being exposed to toxins. Those are all super important. But without your nerve system, none of those things would even matter. Without a nerve system, you couldn't even have an immune system, right? And so that's a really important part of this. So I want to read to you the statement from D.D. Palmer. So D.D. Palmer was the founder of chiropractic. And so this is what's so cool about this, you guys, is he knew this way back in 1895. And as his son BJ went on to develop and fine tune, if you will, chiropractic, research it and write papers about it, they knew way back then that the cause of disease was not infections. It was the body being able to take on that infection. And that when the nervous system is weak, that weakens your immune system. So D.D. Palmer wrote, disease is abnormal performance of certain functions. The abnormal activity has its causes. Chiropractic has sought to find these causes, which often are due to nerve interference along the spine caused by a spinal misalignment called a subluxation. Subluxations can impair normal nerve transmission, which then cause abnormal body function and lowers the body's resistance, making the body susceptible to disease. Right? So that's what we've been talking about and saying for a very long time now. And what we know and understand is that nothing's been more important right now than getting your power turned on. Those of you who get regular wellness chiropractic adjustments are already, in the good with making sure your immune system is strong, because every time you get an adjustment, it increases your immune function by 200%. Research shows us that. The other thing that they did research on was found out that people who get regular chiropractic wellness adjustments for 5 years or more have a higher immunity, a healthier functioning body, and the research showed that they spent less money on healthcare. They got sick less often, or if they did get sick, they didn't stay sick as long. So it's really important to get your chiropractic wellness adjustments. Look at the next point right below that. It says, during the 1918 flu pandemic, researchers in Davenport, Iowa found that out of 93,590 patients that were treated by medical doctors, there were 6,116 deaths, a loss of about one patient out of every 15. Chiropractors at the Palmer School of Chiropractic adjusted 1,635 cases with only one death, right? So check out those differences. And, if you think about it and realize for yourself, there's no better place to be right now than in a chiropractic office getting your power turned on. It's not ever been more important than that. I missed another point I wanted to make to you earlier too, when we were talking about soil and seed out of this pamphlet, is that there's another accomplished, noted medical doctor. His name is Dr. Andrew Weil, and he's an MD, and he goes one step further to contend that germs are not caused at all by merely agents of disease. So not by the virus itself or the bug flying around in the air. In his popular book, Health and Healing, he states this: germs are agents of disease. Agents of disease are not the cause of disease. Agents of disease do not cause us to get sick. They are merely potential vectors of illness waiting for chances to do their mischief. Given a chance, they'll do it. Chances come along because of natural fluctuations of our cycles of relative health. You see, that's why you can have 20 people in a room be exposed to all the same germ, and one person gets sick and another person not get sick. So what would you rather have? You'd rather have a stronger immune system. You'd rather be having years, if not decades of time invested in having a stronger immune system, right? So this no longer is it something that works to just feel fine, because you can feel fine but still have a weak immune system and not even realize it. And now more than ever, we need to contribute to our health, our well-being, to wellness, right? And that's why we're a chiropractic wellness center, because it's important. All these 5 essentials are important for your health and healing, and for your not only you, but for your family. And how many of you are coming in and getting chiropractic adjustment, or know about getting a chiropractic adjustment, but maybe haven't been in for years, or you're leaving your family at home, right? In my house, my family, since we've always been adjusted on a regular basis, since this corona thing happened, my men in my house, my husband and my son, are getting adjusted in our house on my table that I have up in the bedroom upstairs every day. Every day. Not once a week, not once a month, every day. Why? We want to do everything we can to keep our immune system strong, because it's the only thing that is going to kill this thing is our immune systems. So we've got to get them tough and strong. It's also important, while we're having our nervous system very powerful, is to also make sure that we are getting the right nutrients in. So I've got about 15 minutes. I do want to do some Q&A, but I want to tell you about some of the nutrients that we have available on our website. And I'll give you the website address in a few minutes too. So Daily Defense, if you're not already taking that, that's a really important immune supporting nutrient. It lowers inflammation in your body. It helps reduce oxidative stress in your body. The N-acetyl L-cysteine that is part of the Daily Defense is something that heals the cell itself. So it's very important for health and healing and immune system. The other thing we see on here is Probiotic 50B. This is a newer one to our office. We've had a couple of different probiotics that are within things like Max GI, which have great probiotics to improve your digestive tract. It helps for inflammation in the gut, and as well as acid reflux and those kind of things. But we also have some probiotic and prebiotics in our D3. But this Probiotic 50B is a mega probiotic. It's 50B because it's 50 billion strong. And you do not get too much if you take the Probiotic 50B and the vitamin D3, and quite frankly, for all that matter, what's also in the Max GI. There's no such thing, especially at this time, of getting too much. To stimulate a very healthy gut flora is very important. Vitamin C, this vitamin C is a complete vitamin C. It combines vitamin C with oxidative boosting citrus bioflavonoids that strengthen your immune system. Garlic and parsley oil blends, also good for your immune system, because they help your body respond to inflammation in a healthy way. There's good inflammation and there's negative inflammation, and this garlic and parsley blend help make that balance better, and strengthens your immune system as well. And then, of course, vitamin D3. can't say enough to you about vitamin D3 because vitamin D3 has been shown in research to kill infection, kill bacteria, kill viruses, even kills cancer in a petri dish. So we know that D3 is that strong in fighting things that are negative to your body. It's literally helping to strengthen your immune system every time you use it. And our vitamin D3 has probiotic in it. And the reason why that's there is because you need probiotic in order for D3 to be absorbed properly. Sometimes you're taking the wrong kind of D3 or D3 without probiotic, and your body can't absorb it. So it's like just eating money. It goes right through you, and your body doesn't absorb it, and it doesn't help you any. So vitamin D3 with pro and prebiotics that help to fight viruses. Those are very important things as well. So you can get all of these things and more of our products online. They're available for you to buy them online. We do still have some things in the office. We did run out of vitamin C, but I have D3 available. But some of you are not going out. That's if you're coming into the office for an adjustment, that's good. If you're not already a patient, you can still come in and be a new patient, get your power turned on. But we want to encourage you to go ahead and order things online because many of these things we are already out of in the office and will be continuing to be running out of. So make sure you get those. Your online resources are to go to our store. I also noticed that Lorena has just posted on this stream the links to all of those vitamins. So you can click on those links and click on the one that you want to go get. And we have them either individually or you can also buy them in an immune system bundle. That immune system bundle combines these things all together, the ones that I just went over with you, and then gives them to you at a discount. So you can get them discounted that way too. And we have lots of different discounts available. We also have monthly auto ships that discount every month. So check that out when you go to our online store. Make sure that you give us a call at the office. I'll give you the phone number at our office. If you've never been to our office before, we'd love for you to join us. I'm sure you can find that information on here, but it's also 586-573-6622. And give us a call so we can get you scheduled either as a new patient or if you're already a regular patient, come in and get your adjustment done while you can. We plan on being there all week next week. We were there last week and we plan to continue to be able to do so we can share that with you guys. So at this point, if anybody has any questions, I'd love for you to post questions at the bottom of the screen right there. And we'll wait a few minutes if anybody has a question they want to say or bring up. That would be great. When you do come to the office, and I'll just kind of give you a couple of things to tell you about. If you've never been a patient before, we will do a check and a screening test guys. We're back on. Weird for a second, so I had a little interruption, but we're back. Can you see me now? Hopefully, somebody tell me you can see me now. Tracy, I see you texting on there. Can you guys see me now again? Back on. So anyway, what I was trying to say was that we would do an exam on you to find out if you do have nerve interference, and then be able to help you with an adjustment. If you've been a patient in our office in the past and you haven't been in a really long time, I totally understand. Right now, you probably wish you could get in. We will be more than happy to open the doors for you to come in and get an immune system adjustment. If that's something that you just want to do now during this time, or if you decide you want to be a regular wellness patient after that, we can arrange that for you. So love to be able to have you guys back in the office. If you've been missing for a while, we'd open the doors to you with loving arms, and look forward to having you come in and get that immune boosting adjustment done. When you do come in the office next week, look for this handout. We're going to be giving the cause of disease handout to people. And you know what I really love you to do is to share. So I'm still looking to see if anybody has any questions, because we do have a little bit of time, not much. But as I'm waiting to see if somebody has a question, I'll just also tell you that we are wanting and encouraging you to share this so important message with people. I'd love it if you could share this once you see it on your Facebook stream, to share it on your Facebook page, so that this message gets out to people, that we don't need to panic, and we need to really just rely on our God-given ability to heal and do the things that we just talked about, those 9 ways of improving your immune system function. And more people just need to know about it. More people need to know the truth. And a lot of people don't know the truth. And certainly not going to hear any of this on the news, right? And CNN is not about to come on and say, hey, why don't you go get your power turned on because it'll increase your immune system function. So we are the only people who can tell people that. And so all of you that are on this line right now, I can see there's, some of my close warriors of chiropractic that are in my office, and I can see you out there. So I'm glad that you're on the line with me, but we really want to get this important message to more people and have more people hear and understand that they need not panic, they need not worry, they need increase their immune system function. They need do things daily to invest in the health of your community. And then just want to thank you guys. I want to thank my team for being powerful and brave. Oh, great. So Roseanne just asked a question. Thank you for doing that. So when you get a fever, what should you do, and how high should it go until you take something? Great question, Roseanne. Thanks for asking. So what you should do, first of all, if you just have a fever, a low-grade fever between 99 to 101, just stay covered and let your body burn that out. Make sure you stay hydrated, right? So water is really important when you're running a fever, because the fever is literally dehydrating you. Just as if you boiled water on a stove, it's going to dissipate, right? So you got to make sure you keep putting water in your body. And if it has to be ice cubes, do ice cubes, but whatever it takes to get fluids in. Then if it does start to reach, a too high number is 102, 103, even at 102, you don't feel very good, but 103, 104, you start to feel a little bit yucky, terrible. So I like at 102 or 103 that I've done with my kids before is to get cold washcloth, put them on your head. The cold washcloth on the back of your neck is good. You can cold washcloth on your wrists, because that helps to lower your core body temperature without doing it with a medication that will lower the fever altogether. So we want to just temper it down a little bit. The other thing you can do is get in a shower, just even like a lukewarm bath water type of shower temperature, or a lukewarm bath. It doesn't have to be a freezing cold bath, and it doesn't have to be a freezing cold shower, because an 85-degree shower is going to temper, 103 temperature. So shower helps a bunch, or a bath to do either one of those things to help lower that. And then you just, lower it. And I would also recommend that you just do what you need to do to get comfortable with either the cold washcloths or the bath. Rest, try to sleep through it, and let your body burn that fever out. That's good. Thanks, Roseanne, for asking that question. Anybody have any other questions? I actually will speak a little bit while I'm looking to see if you have more questions. That one of the things that I was more concerned about when we're like stocking up is that, if you get sick, what do you need to have in your house? Because I'm not so worried about getting sick, but I'm worried about having those things that make me comfortable when I'm sick. And I don't get sick very often, but when I do, I don't take any medication. I just let my body heal itself, and I give my body whatever it needs to support my immune system. So, been high on the, taking all the vitamins that we just talked about. I'm doing my protein shake every day. And then I'm adding collagen to my protein shake every day, as well as I've added now as kind of a new thing for us is elderberry syrup, which is known to strengthen your immune system and fight infection. So we've been taking elderberry syrup. We bought it on Amazon, easy enough to do. And then we got it in a little spray pump, and I also have like a syrup that I just add to water. So either way, you can use that. The other thing that I was thinking I wanted to make sure I had available was my Thieves. I'm sorry, not Thieves, On Guard, sorry, old name. My On Guard beadlets. So I've been having those on hand. I had extra vitamin C on hand because if I get sick, I would want to take extra vitamin C. So just having those comfort things in the house to make sure that what would you do if you did? I also have an echinacea tea. I'm not taking the echinacea tea right now because echinacea is something that you want to reduce, like how many weeks you take it at a time. Like you only want to do it for about 2 or 3 weeks. So I have it on hand, but I'm waiting that in the case that I do not feel good, or any of my family members, I would give them some echinacea tea as well. And some bone broth soup. Remember what bone broth soup does? It's great for your immune system because it heals your gut. So bone broth soup is another good thing to have in the house. And you won't really feel much like eating if you have a big fever or you can't really, breathe well through your mouth, through your nose. So liquids and soups can be really helpful for that. Okay, so it looks like we're wrapping up on our time and nobody else asked any questions. So I'm going to assume you don't have any. And if you do, certainly you can message us on our Facebook page or get a hold of us at the office. We're here for you guys. We're available for you guys. This was a lot of fun. I love your feedback if you've enjoyed getting the class this way. It was definitely fun for me because I still have my slippers on. And I look forward to doing more of these with you guys. And thanks for watching. Share it with your friends. And we'll see you next time. Be safe. Bye-bye.
So I watched it
Okay,
from
so-
my phone, from my computer on Facebook, and also from YouTube.
Oh, I found it.
Okay, there it is.